G'day, this is Jace, and after using the Fold4 for a few weeks and putting it through its paces, I'm going to list out my pros and cons of using it as a daily driver. Check it out. The Fold4 has a lot of things going for it, and even though it's the 4th generation foldable phone for Samsung and it has the latest folding tech, there are other things that are lacking when it comes to everyday use. Keep in mind that this is my first foldable device, so my perspective is from someone who has used a candy bar phone for 14 years. I like to get the worst parts out of the way, so first up is my petty list of cons. So most of the time, people commuting or walking around or wanting to quickly check their phone like a normal slab phone will use the phone folded. In fact, I use it folded about half the time just for the sake of convenience and probably habit. When folded, the hinge looks very premium and I like the way that it's flat and therefore modern looking. But with this look comes a price of comfort. The bottom edge of the phone is sharp when you use it on your left hand to hold it. It makes it worse given that the phone is quite heavy. The only solution I came up with was to shuffle my grip up higher or to use my right hand. The weight of the phone makes it so it digs into my palm after using it for a while and sometimes causes my hand to open slightly where the phone slides out and drops, especially if lying down. You wouldn't want to hold it above your face or it will cause some damage. Going back to the S20 Ultra feels super light in comparison and just gives off less of a brick shape vibe. I think it's great that Samsung are pushing for a behind screen camera, but I think they need to keep their R&D efforts out of their flagship devices and maybe just refine them to a standard that's more acceptable. Here I'm showing the camera pinhole under different colored backgrounds. It's not that noticeable, but I will never use this camera for selfies as it's such bad quality. Unless you use video calls every day on this device, there is no need to use this camera. The money saved from not including this camera could have meant that they included an S Pen in the box or even a charger. Just stick to the main camera for selfies, I reckon. My phone cradle is designed for normal slab or candy bar phones, and it's upright, which means it's great for using while I work. I know there are most likely custom wireless chargers for the Fold4 or more flat on the table solutions, but I wanted to show you the frustrations I have with the official Samsung Cradle that I own. The issue I have is mostly when the phone is unfolded. The phone will charge okay, but it means that either the fingerprint sensor is on the bottom and I need to rotate the phone to unlock the phone and use certain apps, or I charge it upright and have the weight of the phone a bit unstable over the edge, which gives me anxiety. I resort to having to rotate the phone as I like that orientation, which makes everything bigger. I also found a nice hack where I can charge it in flex mode so I can use the bottom part of the screen for controls. So I reckon my fingers aren't that oily, but ever since the pandemic, I think I've even overwashed my hands to the point of dryness. So it disappoints me that the inner screen somehow picks up the small amount of oil on my fingers and smudges absolutely every time I use it. If you have OCD, you will for sure be wiping this inner screen many times a day, as they show up quite clearly under any sort of light. Not only that, the dust just clings to the pre-installed screen protector very easily. You can see it here in the sunlight. Ironic that this phone has no dust IP rating, just water resistance at IPX8. Although, still a great rating for something that essentially folds into itself along the hinge. So the camera lens is only 50 megapixels compared to my 3-year-old S20 Ultra that has 108 megapixels. Check out some photos I took on the Fold4. It's not that the photos are bad, it's the fact that this is the highest flagship phone according to price, and it's got the lenses of the lowest version of the S22. Here's a side-by-side video with the S20 Ultra. I believe the colors look better on the Fold. The dynamic range is very similar, but you'll see that the brightness is more adaptable on the Fold and the leaves are brightened as I walk under the shade. As you can see from the nighttime video, the quality drops quite significantly after 3 times zoom. The camera is okay for closer photos and selfies, but it's definitely no space zoom, and you won't get a good quality zoom at night. Now onto the pros, and the first one is obvious. Unfolding to what is essentially an iPad mini equivalent is awesome, and now it saves me from having a tablet. Keep in mind, I use it unfolded to make text bigger, because I'm getting old, and to watch TV shows. This is how it sounds when being closed. In the Tesla, I took off the cover and it sounds very premium. In the studio, the case made it sound tinny and cheap. When folded, the screen is actually narrower than a normal S-Series Ultra phone, which makes it much easier to use as I can reach all corners of the screen pretty much. It also feels secure when you grip it as your fingers wrap around it more. You can even unfold it to a certain degree with one hand while walking, at your own risk, but unfolding was definitely designed as a two-handed operation. For work, I like to have a few things open at one time so that I can multitask. I listen to music, have a chat open, and also browse the web. This can be done all on the unfolded screen and saved in its own shortcut icon in the taskbar, available on Android 12L. I did find that some apps like YouTube had glitches in this mode, so a lot of the apps are not 100% ready for multitasking, but there are workarounds. Creating a shortcut for the multitasking screen is as easy as touching the border between the apps and choosing the star. You can add the icon to the home screen or the taskbar. When you touch the multitasking shortcut, the saved screen configuration will load. Coming from the ultrasonic in-screen fingerprint sensor, it was a pleasure to go back to a capacitive sensor. It is so much more accurate and faster, and it's located in a spot that always has a finger placed there no matter if folded or unfolded. The button also feels a bit bigger than the sensor on the S10e, so even if you miss it by just a little bit, it will still work. There's 2 options for the sensitivity. You can have it active all the time and you just place your finger on it. All I could imagine was my kids grabbing my hand to graze the sensor so they can watch Netflix. The other option is to click first before the sensor is active, and this suited me more as I didn't want to accidentally pay for something or activate something while it was in my pocket. The main reason I got the phone was to use it as a tablet when I'm at home or at work. The big screen is great for social media and streaming movies and TV shows. I found that the orientation with the crease being horizontal meant that the videos I watch are bigger due to the screen size ratio. It's also more comfortable to hold in this position, and the speakers can be cupped by your palms to redirect the sound, as the speaker grills are on both sides. The inner screen brightness is better than I expected, and I could see everything in the full sunlight, although it is very reflective, so you'll have to angle it right. Not that many would use it in this way anyways, at least not often. Coming back to the speakers, to me, these sound very beefy for a phone, and a lot of the time I've ended up using this as my Bluetooth speaker replacement when I'm around the house doing chores. I recorded the S20 Ultra versus the Fold4 so that you can judge for yourself how things have changed. There's 2 speaker grills on the top and bottom of the phone, or left and right depending on how you hold it, and the stereo with the bass makes a world of difference to enjoying music and videos. So those were my pros and cons for the Samsung Fold4. In my opinion, the Samsung Fold4 is an amazing piece of tech and is well worth an upgrade from the S20 Ultra, with a few caveats. If you like taking photos of things at a distance, then you are losing out quite a lot with the 3x zoom, so in that case I would stick with the S20 Ultra. Also, if you don't see yourself using the tablet form very often, then the premium you pay isn't worth it, and you may as well go with the S22 Ultra or wait for the S23 Ultra. In my case, I will keep the Fold and trade in the S20 as it covers most of my needs. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Power out.